The alarm echoed through the curved hallways of Monitoring Station 47. Senior Observer Taewon looked up from his console, eyes widening as the proximity sensors flashed red. "Unknown vessel entering Sector 9, announced the station's AI in a calm voice that contrasted with the urgent situation. "Configuration unknown. Weapons systems detected." Taewon's fingers flew across the holographic interface. The blue light from the console reflected on his focused face as he worked to identify the mysterious ship. "Run full spectrum analysis," he ordered. His second-in-command, Officer Jiho, leaned over his shoulder. His normally relaxed demeanor had vanished, replaced by professional concern. "Could it be Dravari pirates again?" Jiho asked, referring to the notorious raiders who occasionally tested the Council's borders. "No," Taewon replied, his voice tight as he studied the readings. "Look at these energy signatures. Technology doesn't match anything in our database." The station's commander, Dae-hyun, strode onto the bridge. His ceremonial council uniform was hastily fastened, suggesting he had been resting when the alert sounded. The silver insignia on his collar caught the light as he moved. "Report," he demanded, his deep voice cutting through the tension. "Sir, we've detected an unknown warship entering council space," Taewon explained, pointing to the main screen. "Heavily armed but using propulsion and energy systems we've never encountered before." The main view screen flickered to life, showing a sleek vessel with angular lines and what appeared to be multiple weapons arrays. Its hull was dark, absorbing rather than reflecting nearby starlight, making it appear like a shadow among the stars. "Open communication channels," ordered Dae-hyun, straightening his posture. The bridge crew worked quickly, establishing a connection with the mysterious ship. After several tense moments, the screen flickered. A bipedal creature appeared, pale-skinned with dark hair pulled back tightly and a rigid posture that spoke of military discipline. "This is Captain Helena Reeves of the Terran Defense Force vessel Indomitable," the alien announced in a clear, confident voice. "We come seeking peaceful contact with the Galactic Council." Dae-hyun exchanged glances with his senior staff. "Terran? Is that in our records?" Intelligence Officer Hyo-jin stepped forward from her monitoring station. Her expression was grave as she consulted her datapad. "Sir, preliminary data suggests these humans evolved on what we would classify as a death world," she reported. "High gravity, extreme temperature variations, dangerous wildlife, and natural disasters. They appear to be apex predators." The bridge fell silent as this information sank in. Most council species had evolved on relatively peaceful worlds, where cooperation rather than competition drove evolution. "Can we confirm their intentions?" Dae-hyun asked. "Their weapons systems are active but not targeting us," responded Security Chief Minho from his station. "However, their defenses are at full capacity." Dae-hyun turned back to the screen, studying the human captain more carefully. The alien had features that triggered subtle warning signals in his brain, forward-facing eyes like a hunter, teeth that included sharp canines, and a muscular build suggesting considerable strength. "Send standard greeting protocols," he ordered after a moment of consideration. "But keep our defenses ready. And alert the nearest council warships to change course toward our position." As the communication officer complied, Dae-hyun called for a private channel to council headquarters. "This is Commander Dae-hyun of Monitoring Station 47, he reported to the council representative who answered. "We have a first contact situation with an unknown species calling themselves humans. They've arrived in what appears to be a warship." The council representative, an elder named Q1, frowned deeply. "Aggressive posture for a first contact. What is your assessment?" "Uncertain at this time," Dae-hyun replied honestly. "They claim peaceful intentions, but they're heavily armed. Intelligence suggests they evolved as predators." "Proceed with caution," Q1 ordered. "I'll convene an emergency council session. Do not provoke them, but do not lower your defenses. If they truly come in peace, they will understand our caution." As the communication ended, Dae-hyun returned to the main bridge. The human ship remained in position, waiting for their response. On screen, Captain Reeves stood patiently, her posture suggesting both confidence and restraint. Sir, said Hyojin quietly, if these humans evolved on a death world, they may have developed technologies we can't match. Their weapons could be beyond our understanding. Daehyun nodded grimly. Then let's hope they truly come in peace. He squared his shoulders and prepared to respond to the first humans to enter Council space. The next few minutes would determine whether this meeting would lead to friendship or become the first moments of an interstellar conflict. Captain Helena Reeves stood on the command deck of the TDF Indomitable, watching as alien stars streamed past on the main view screen. The bridge hummed with quiet efficiency around her. This far from Earth, the stars looked different, unfamiliar patterns that reminded everyone just how far they had ventured from home. Status report, Commander Park, she ordered, her voice calm despite the historic moment they were experiencing. Commander Jin-Woo Park, her executive officer, checked his tablet. He had served with Reeves for 7 years, and she trusted his thoroughness completely. All systems nominal, Captain. The ship is performing perfectly, he replied. Ambassador Yoon has completed preparations for first contact procedures and awaits your signal. Reeves nodded. The Indomitable represented humanity's first official venture into what they now knew was populated space. After centuries of wondering if they were alone, intercepted communications had finally revealed the existence of the Galactic Council. Atlas, analysis of alien transmissions? Reeves asked the ship's AI. A soft blue light pulsed on the central console as the artificial intelligence responded. Processing complete, Captain. I detect multiple defense platforms activating in our vicinity. Their weapons systems appear to be powering up, though not yet targeting us directly. Recommend caution. Jin-Woo frowned. Seems our new neighbors are nervous. Can't blame them, Reeves replied with a small smile. We did arrive in a warship. Humanity's history isn't exactly peaceful. That's why we have Ambassador Yoon and why we have the Marines. She turned to the tactical station where Lieutenant Subin monitored the alien station. Keep tracking their defense systems, but take no action that could be interpreted as aggressive. Yes, Captain, Subin responded, her fingers moving across her console with practiced precision. Down in the ship's diplomatic quarter, Ambassador Su Ming-yoon reviewed her notes one final time. After Earth's unification following the resource wars and the climate crisis, humanity had learned hard lessons about cooperation. She hoped these aliens would appreciate that humanity had grown beyond its violent past, mostly. Her assistant, Ki-ho, entered with a fresh cup of tea. The captain reports we're maintaining position near the alien station, Ambassador. They've acknowledged our greeting but seem cautious. Understandable, Su-min replied, accepting the tea gratefully. We're unknowns to them, arriving in a military vessel. First impressions matter greatly in diplomacy. She glanced at the photos of Earth displayed on her wall, the rebuilt cities, the restored oceans, the green forests that had almost been lost. Humanity had nearly destroyed itself before finding unity. That perspective would be valuable now. On the security deck, Major Eun-ji checked her tactical display. Her Marines stood ready, though she hoped they wouldn't be needed. 20 years in the service had taught her that showing force often created more problems than it solved. Keep alert but stand down weapons, she ordered her team. Let's not give anyone reason to think we're hostile. Captain Reeves's voice came through on the communication system. Major, status report. All security teams are at ready position, Captain, Eun-ji replied. Non-aggressive posture as ordered. Good, Reeves said. I'm sending you the scans of their station. Note the weapon emplacements, impressive technology, but their targeting systems seem less advanced than ours. Eun-ji studied the images with professional interest. Agreed. They could damage us, but their reaction time appears slower than Earth standard. Back on the bridge, Reeves settled into her command chair. The years of training had prepared her for this moment, humanity's first official contact with alien intelligence. The weight of responsibility settled on her shoulders, but she welcomed it. Captain, called out Communications Officer Han-jae, we're receiving a more detailed transmission from the station. They're requesting information about our species and intentions. Send the prepared first contact package that Ambassador Yoon assembled, Reeves ordered. Keep all systems in passive mode. Let's show them we mean what we say about coming in peace. Jinwoo looked up from his console. Captain, Atlas is detecting increased energy readings from their defensive systems. They're being cautious, Reeves observed. I would be too. The view screen shifted to show the alien station more clearly. Its curved, organic design contrasted with the angular efficiency of the Indomitable. Around it, smaller vessels had taken up defensive positions. Captain, said Jinwoo quietly, do you think they'll accept us? Reeves watched the alien ships with calm assessment. Humanity has faced its share of fears and struggles. We've learned to overcome our differences. If these aliens are advanced enough to form a galactic council, they must have learned similar lessons. She stood up, straightening her uniform. Open a direct channel. I want to speak with their commander personally. As the communication system prepared the connection, Reeves composed her thoughts. The first words exchanged between humans and this galactic council would set the tone for all that followed. Behind her, the crew of the Indomitable waited in respectful silence, aware they were witnessing history in the making. I in the council monitoring station, Specialist Hanjun studied the human vessel with growing alarm. The data flowing across his screen showed energy fluctuations that matched no known peaceful pattern in the council database. Commander, they're running some kind of energy test through their weapon systems, he called out, his voice rising slightly. Commander Daehyun leaned forward in his chair, tension visible in his shoulders. Are they preparing to fire? Uncertain, sir. But their power signature just spiked dramatically, Hanjun replied, pointing to the pulsing red indicators on his screen. On the main view screen, they watched as the Council's interceptor ships formed a defensive perimeter around the approaching human vessel. The small, agile craft moved into position with practiced efficiency, though they looked tiny compared to the dark hull of the Terran ship. Security Chief Minho activated the station's shields. The soft hum of the defense systems filled the command center as translucent energy fields surrounded the station. Sir, recommend we fire a warning shot, Minho suggested, his hand hovering over the weapons control. Show them we're serious. Daehyun hesitated, his training on peaceful first contact protocols conflicting with his instinct for caution. The Council prefers diplomatic solutions. With respect, Commander, interrupted Intelligence Officer Hyojin, looking up from her analysis, our research indicates these humans evolved as predators. They may only respect demonstrations of strength. She brought up an image of Earth on the secondary screen, a planet with vast oceans and diverse terrain. Their world produced numerous apex predator species. Their own history shows thousands of years of warfare. They may interpret our patience as weakness. Aboard the Indomitable, Captain Reeves observed the alien formation with professional interest. The view from the bridge showed the small council ships arranging themselves in a clear pattern. Classic containment pattern, she noted to her executive officer. They're worried about us. Jinwoo nodded. Can't say I blame them. We are rather heavily armed for a diplomatic mission. Earth Council insisted, Reeves replied. After what happened to the Pathfinder expedition. She left the sentence unfinished. Everyone on the bridge remembered the fate of the first, unarmed human ship that had ventured toward the galactic core 3 years ago and never returned. Captain, called the sensor operator, her voice sharp with alarm, they're charging weapons. Reeves straightened in her chair. Defensive posture only. Ambassador Yoon needs more time. Before she could finish, a bright energy pulse streaked past the ship, missing by meters but striking a communication array. The impact sent a shudder through the Indomitable's frame. The bridge erupted into activity. Warning klaxons sounded as the ship's defensive systems automatically activated. Screens flashed with damage reports and tactical information. Damage report, barked Reeves, maintaining her composure despite the sudden attack. Communications array damaged but still functioning, reported Jinwoo, scanning through the incoming data. No casualties. Shield generators responding automatically to the threat. Around the ship, armored panels slid into place over vulnerable areas. The Indomitable's advanced shields hummed to life, creating a barely visible shimmer around the vessel. Ambassador Yoon's voice came through on the internal channel, slightly distorted by the damage to communications. "Captain, please don't return fire. This could be a cultural misunderstanding." Reeves gripped the arms of her command chair. "Major Unji, status?" "Security teams in position, Captain," came the prompt reply from the Marine commander. "Weapons hot but awaiting your order." On the council station, the command staff watched with a mixture of tension and surprise as the human vessel's response unfolded. Instead of immediate retaliation, the ship had activated impressive defensive systems but held its fire. "Their restraint is unexpected," noted Hyojin. Commander Daehyun frowned at the tactical display. "Open emergency communications. We need to de-escalate this situation before." His words were cut short as a new alert sounded. Council member Doohyun's image appeared on a separate channel, his expression severe. "Commander! Destroy that vessel immediately," the council member ordered. "We cannot risk bringing predators into council space. Their technology is too advanced and their nature too aggressive." Hyojin looked up from her console in alarm. "Sir, one of our patrol craft is moving to attack position without proper authorization." On the tactical display, they watched as a small council vessel broke formation and accelerated toward the human ship, its weapons charging to full capacity. "Countermand that order," shouted Daehyun, but it was too late. Aboard the Indomitable, Major Unji's tactical display lit up with warnings. "Incoming hostile, Captain. One of their smaller ships is on an attack vector, weapons at full charge." Captain Reeves made a split-second decision that would shape humanity's first official contact with alien life. "Defensive measures only," she ordered firmly. "No casualties if possible. We didn't come this far to start a war." As both sides braced for the coming confrontation, Ambassador Yoon hurriedly prepared an emergency message, hoping to bridge the gap of misunderstanding before it widened into an unbridgeable chasm. The council observers watched in stunned silence as the human vessel's response to their patrol ship's aggression unfolded. Within seconds, defensive shields unlike any they had seen before enveloped the Indomitable. Weapon ports opened along the ship's hull, but remarkably, they didn't fire. "By the stars," breathed Taewon, his eyes wide. "Their reaction time is impossible." The patrol craft fired, its energy beam lancing toward the human vessel. Instead of striking the ship, the beam hit an invisible barrier and dispersed harmlessly, creating a brief, brilliant flare of light. Commander Daehyun gripped his console so tightly his knuckles paled. "Open emergency communications. Now!" The human captain's face appeared on screen again, her expression controlled but stern. Behind her, the bridge crew worked with calm efficiency despite the attack. "This is Captain Reeves," she said, her voice steady. "We have not returned fire, but I must warn you that further hostile action will force us to defend ourselves. We came here in peace." Before Daehyun could respond, Council Member Doohyun's image appeared on a separate channel, his face flushed with anger. "Commander! Why hasn't that vessel been neutralized? I gave a direct order." Daehyun straightened his back. "With respect, Council Member, they have shown remarkable restraint. They could have destroyed our patrol craft but chose not to fire." "Their restraint is a trick," insisted Doohyun. "These creatures evolved as predators. They cannot be trusted." Hyojin looked up from her console in alarm. "Sir, 3 more of our ships are moving to attack positions without authorization. They're responding to Council Member Doohyun's orders instead of Central Command." On the tactical display, 3 more Council vessels broke formation and accelerated toward the human ship, their weapons charging. Aboard the Indomitable, Major Unji's tactical display lit up with multiple warnings. "Captain, 3 more hostiles incoming. They're forming an attack pattern." Captain Reeves stood from her command chair, her decision already made. "Implement Defense Protocol 4. Disable their weapons and propulsion systems only. No destruction unless absolutely necessary." "Aye, Captain," replied Unji, relaying the orders to her tactical teams. The human ship moved with startling speed that belied its size. As the Council vessels fired, focused shields intercepted the blasts with pinpoint precision. Then, with surgical accuracy, the Indomitable fired short, controlled pulses that targeted only the weapons and engine systems of the attacking ships. In seconds, all 3 Council vessels drifted powerless, their crews unharmed but their ability to fight completely neutralized. The Council observers watched in shock, not at the human vessel's power, but at its restraint. No military vessel in Council records had ever demonstrated such precise defensive capabilities. They could have destroyed them all, whispered Security Chief Minho, his previous aggression replaced by a new respect. Why didn't they? On the main communication channel, Captain Reeves spoke again. Commander Daehyun, I understand your caution. Humans have a saying, actions speak louder than words. Please judge us by our actions here today. Ambassador Yoon appeared beside the captain, her expression earnest. Commander, I request permission to come aboard your station with a small diplomatic team. No weapons, no guards. Just conversation. The request stunned the Council staff. Sending an unarmed delegation after being fired upon defied all military logic. Council member Do-hyun sputtered in outrage. This is a trap. They'll infiltrate the station and... Daehyun muted the Council member's channel and turned to his intelligence officer. Hyo-jin, your assessment? She considered carefully before answering. Their technology clearly surpasses ours. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done so already. I believe the ambassador's offer is genuine. Daehyun made his decision. Ambassador Yoon, we will receive your delegation. I take personal responsibility for your safety while aboard our station. Captain Reeves nodded. Thank you, Commander. Ambassador Yoon will shuttle over within the hour. As communications ended, Jinwoo approached Captain Reeves on the Indomitable bridge. Are you certain sending the ambassador without security is wise, Captain? Reeves watched as the disabled Council ships were being recovered by their allies. Sometimes the greatest show of strength is the willingness to be vulnerable, Commander. We need to demonstrate that humans are more than just efficient fighters. In her quarters, Ambassador Yoon prepared for the most important diplomatic mission in human history. She studied the limited cultural information they had gathered about the Council species, hoping to avoid further misunderstandings. Ambassador, said her assistant Kiho, the captain reports that the Council station has lowered its shields to receive our shuttle. Suman nodded, gathering her courage. Then it's time to show them who we really are. As the human diplomatic shuttle departed from the Indomitable, both sides watched with tense anticipation. The small craft carried not just Ambassador Yoon and her team, but the hopes for peace between humanity and the Galactic Council. The next few hours would determine whether first contact would lead to alliance or war. Ambassador Soo Min-yoon stepped from the shuttle onto the Council station, escorted by only 2 unarmed diplomatic aides. The station's artificial gravity felt slightly lighter than Earth standard, giving her steps a subtle bounce. The air carried unfamiliar scents, clean but with hints of something like cinnamon and ozone. She had insisted on leaving her security detail behind despite Captain Reeves' concerns. This calculated risk was necessary to demonstrate trust after the near conflict. The Council representatives waited nervously in the docking bay. They stood in a small group, their postures stiff and formal. Senior diplomat Jae-in stepped forward with precise movements. Her skin had a faint bluish tint that contrasted with her silver uniform. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I greet you, she said carefully, keeping her hands visible and her mouth nearly closed when speaking. A detail the humans would later learn was to avoid showing teeth, considered a sign of aggression among many Council species. Suman smiled warmly, unaware that her exposed teeth caused a ripple of unease among the watching Council members. I bring greetings from Earth and the United Human Governments. We come seeking friendship and knowledge. The diplomatic team was escorted through curved corridors where other station personnel stopped to stare at the first humans they had ever seen. Many seemed surprised by how similar to several Council species humans appeared, despite evolving on a distant world. They arrived at a conference room where representatives from 12 Council species waited. The tension was palpable as Suman and her aides took their seats at the large circular table. Council leader Sung-ho, an elder with distinctive gold markings on his face, opened the discussion. We must address the warship in which you arrived, he began. The Galactic Council is a peaceful organization. Ambassador Yoon nodded, her hands folded calmly on the table. As is humanity, now. But we evolved on a world that taught us to be prepared. She paused, choosing her words carefully. Our history is marked by conflict, yes, but also by tremendous cooperation and eventual unity. Your ship disabled 4 of our vessels without destroying them, noted Security Representative Boram. Such precision suggests considerable experience with warfare. Or considerable desire to avoid it, countered Suman. We could have responded with equal force, but chose not to. That restraint defines modern humanity as much as our capability for defense. Over the next several hours, Suman shared humanity's story, their wars and their peace, their divisions, and their ultimate unification. She explained Earth's harsh environment that forged humans into adaptable survivors. She showed them images of Earth, its vast oceans and towering mountains, its deserts and forests. The council members were particularly fascinated by the variety of environments humans had adapted to live in. We protect those under our care fiercely, she explained as she showed images of human families, communities, and the Earth Defense Force. This is both our greatest strength and what others might fear most about us. Science Representative Junho leaned forward with interest. Your species survived multiple extinction-level events? Yes, Suman confirmed. Climate change, resource wars, pandemic diseases. Each crisis taught us hard lessons about cooperation. We nearly destroyed ourselves before learning to work together. The atmosphere in the room gradually shifted from tense caution to cautious interest. When Suman played recordings of human music and showed examples of art, several council members showed visible emotion. Beauty from a predator species, murmured cultural representative Minji. Fascinating contradiction. By day's end, a tentative understanding began to emerge. The council granted permission for the Indomitable to visit the Central Council worlds as a gesture of growing trust. As the human delegation prepared to return to their ship, Council leader Sungho approached Ambassador Yoon privately. Your captain showed remarkable restraint today, he acknowledged. Many council members feared the worst when we detected your ship. Suman smiled. Humans have learned that strength without wisdom leads only to destruction. We hope to prove ourselves worthy allies of the council. As the human shuttle departed back to the Indomitable, Council leader Sungho turned to Intelligence Officer Hyojin, who had observed the entire meeting. What do you make of these humans? He asked quietly. Hyojin considered carefully before answering. They are predators, yes, but they are also protectors. They fight fiercely but prefer peace. I believe the galaxy has just changed forever, sir. In her private quarters on the Indomitable, Captain Reeves received the news of their diplomatic success with quiet satisfaction. The ambassador's report detailed the gradual thawing of relations and the permission to proceed deeper into council space. Congratulations, Ambassador, Reeves said. You've accomplished what seemed impossible just hours ago. Not impossible, Suman replied with a tired smile. Just the next step in humanity's journey. We found our place among the stars, not through conquest as our ancestors might have attempted, but through restraint and wisdom. The ship's engines hummed softly as they set course for the heart of council space, carrying humanity's first ambassadors into a vast and complex galactic community that would never be quite the same again.